Morena, Etefano, a very warm welcome to No Boundaries special edition, because obviously the Cricket World Cup is well underway now. The Black Caps in their second match-up tonight against the Netherlands, a great victory by 99 runs. I'm joined by Scott Styris, Mike Hesson. Scott, I'll start with you. We had to win that one, obviously, and you would have been surprised if we didn't?
Yes, potential banana skin as well, though. I sort of thought when you come off a victory as good as that performance was against England, then you've got to make sure that you've got your feet on the ground, you start again and get on top early against a minnow. That's what you need to do to make sure they don't get a sniff of victory. I thought the openers did a particularly good job. The whole batting unit did a really good job, actually. And once they got on top, then it was a matter of time. But that's just a really good sign of the mental strength of this group.
In terms of good signs, what did you see overnight here that pleased you about this Black Cap setup?
It wasn't an easy surface at all. It basically held on the wicket. It was a tough pitch to start on. So the ability to, as I said, take the pressure off you by putting on 100 for the first, being 100 for one, basically took that pressure off. You could see here Netherlands got Pakistan 3 for 50 and they got their tails up and they were hard to apply pressure to. So it was just a professional batting performance, as Scotty alluded to. Never got themselves in trouble. And even when they lost a couple of wickets sort of early in the 40s, they had enough depth to be able to just absorb that. And Mitch Sattner, that was a real bonus in terms of him being able to do what he did at the back end with the bat, get 84 in the last 10, and he did the majority of that work. So, yeah, just a really thorough batting performance, and that was always going to be too much.
In terms of Netherlands' performance, credit where credit's due. I thought they did a good job, particularly with the bat. I was surprised they got within 100 of it, to be honest. How did you feel about their performance?
Yeah, once they got to 320, then it was never going to be a total that they were going to chase down. So the question for them was to make sure it was respectable. They didn't. I'm sure they have designs to get through to the semi-finals. That means that you need to get close net run rate wise. And you're right. I thought they did a really good job. They've got a lot of experience now around the world. They're coming together as a group in their own right. So I think both teams will actually be pretty pleased with that 50 overs of cricket. New Zealand will be pleased with the bowling against the batting of Netherlands, and then Netherlands will be pretty, I think, happy that their top order at least got some starts to go along with different players who got starts in the last game. So they're starting to find their feet at this level.
Netherlands will only, going forward, prosper from something like this, Hess.
Look, I still think they'll beat somebody at this tournament. I think they've got enough professionalism in their outfit that I think they will beat someone. It might be Bangladesh. It could be Sri Lanka. There's a couple of sides that if you put them under a bit of pressure, they might sneak over the line. So that just wouldn't surprise me at all. They've got enough pace with Van Meekeren. I think if Logan Van Beek comes back, they're okay from a seam bowling perspective. And from spinners, they're tidy. They probably don't have wicket takers, but they're tidy. And their batters are professional. So, I still think they've got a win in them. Probably just the one.
Scotty immediately said, no, no, absolutely not. So let's start at the beginning. We were put into bat, although both teams did want to have a bowl.
Yeah.
There was some nervy times there, actually, because we didn't have very many runs on the board at one point, which was sort of like, what's going on here? But we got underway. You've got Devon with 32, following on from the form of the first game. Will Young, good to see him score some runs. Has he now made this conversation about where Kane Williamson, what do you do with Rutchin? What are we doing? Good luck, Gary. How does that now conversation start, do you think, Scotty?
I don't know.
Cool.
That's the expert analysis you're after? Yeah, I think it is. He has complicated it a little bit. In some ways, it would have made it easier if Will Young hadn't have scored runs last night. Do they stick to their guns no matter what and say, well, Will Young was our guy that we said was going to be the opener, therefore we've got to trust the process. Right from when Mike was coach, we saw a lot of trust in players and the method. Do they stick to that, or because of the form of Rachin Ravindra, does he now move to the top, Kane back in at 3, or do they just simply slide everyone and maybe Kane bats 4 and one of the hitters down the bottom, Mark Chapman, for example, sit out? So they've got the options, which is always a good sign to have of who to leave out rather than who to put into the team. The top order in both games have done the job. So I've given you options without really giving you an answer, haven't I?
Not an answer at all. You're not landing on anything. Hess, have you got something more slightly concrete there? Like, what are you thinking?
Well, I think Rutchin plays because of his bowling now. I think he's the way the balance is with playing the 3 seamers. I think they need Rutchin. They've decided not to play Ish Sodhi. If he comes in, I think Ish would likely come in for one of the seamers. Like if it's at Chennai and it's going to be an absolute Bunsen, then I think he comes in there. There's no need having 3 seamers and all those spinners. So for me, Rutchin gives that balance now. I thought he bowled much better last night than he has done. So if it becomes a 50-50 call from a batting point of view, then for me the balance overtakes that decision.
You think, Hess, though, that they would play Sodhi against Bangladesh after recent successes?
Oh, look, I think he will, but I don't think they'll play 3 seamers and Sodhi. But Sodhi could come in for Chapman potentially if they think their batting's enough. But I don't. I mean, they'll probably want Lockie, to be fair, from a pace perspective against Bangladesh. So yeah. I mean, I think they will play Sodhi at Chennai based on what we saw the other day.
Yeah,
it's just who they leave out.
So if we look at Lockie, just to off the back of that, Lockie Ferguson, what do you make of his performance tonight? So he has hit the niggle, he's come back, and we talked, I think, about in terms of how Lockie's been over the last 12 months. It's not at his absolute prime at the moment. That's not to say he won't get there by any stretch of the imagination. But from what you saw tonight, were you happy?
Yes. For the reasons you just said, he hasn't had a great couple of years. Now, if he didn't have the pace, I'm not sure he would be in the side, but that's the little X factor and variety that he brings to this attack, which they need. It's a good sign. I'd like to see him do it against better quality opposition, but he can only do it against who he was up against. But I think they desperately need Lockie Ferguson to bowl well. I thought you could argue that he was the best bowler for New Zealand in the 2019 World Cup, and certainly from a pace bowling perspective. So they need that variety that he has. And he has that little cutter out of the side of the hand, which on slow surfaces, which just hold in the pitch, are really, really good deliveries, because you have to respect his pace as a batsman, and therefore you can get fooled by that variety that he has. But he's been a little bit wayward over the last 12 months or so they desperately need his form to lift up, because he's got a group around him, 5 or 6 or 7 at the moment, just on the first 2 games, who are playing really well, and they need the full playing 11 to be up to speed.
I think like a bit of internal pressure as well. Hess, if I just nip back to the batting there, Daryl Mitchell, 48 tonight, Rutchin again with a 51, Will Young, as we mentioned, 70. Not much from Glenn or Chappie, 4 and 5, and then that 36 that we cameo from Mitch Santner at the end. Getting guys out on the park, having a go, was this good for our batting lineup, or could this cause some issues for us, I don't know, nerves-wise for Chappie and Phillips, or are we okay?
Oh, I think we're okay. I mean, it's hard to get all 7 of your top 7 getting a score. Tom Latham got a 50 as well, and sort of run a ball. So he would have got plenty of confidence from that, having not had a bat in the first game. So the fact that Mitchell, Latham, and Santner, sort of 3 of those other batters that didn't get a run in that first game, were impressive. Phillips started when the ball just started to reverse. He came out to bat. It was a bit of a challenging time. Chapman probably struggled to get underway against the off-spin. They brought the off-spin back in, and he struggled to get any momentum at all, and then pretty much slogged out. So he'll have to learn from that, because he will, especially come 2 games in Chennai, he'll have to start against spin. Bangladesh have got arguably better spinners than what we saw on show tonight. So he's going to have to find a way to basically not only absorb, but be able to apply some pressure early on in his innings.
All right, we're going to take a short break. When we come back, we'll take a look at the bowling. We're going to catch up with Black Cap Matt Henry, and we're going to talk about the Black Caps' next opponent. We'll see you soon. Kia ora everyone, welcome back to No Boundaries. Very lucky to have us joining us live from India, Matt Henry, off the back of his 3 wickets. A great victory for the Black Caps. Matt, congratulations. 2 from 2 to start this World Cup campaign. You must be very, very pleased with how it's going.
Yeah, no, it's obviously a great way to start the tournament. But obviously we know that it's a long tournament with a lot of cricket, so not to get too carried away.
Yeah, Matt, personally, from a bowling point of view, you've had a great last few years in white ball cricket. What do you think's been your major change? You've always been so good with the new ball. How have you made that transition to being so effective throughout the innings?
Yeah, I think it's something that I've always kind of had the skills, and it's just getting that consistency of game, really. And I think I suppose applying your trade in different scenarios and just learning, really, and adapting as much as you can. And I think somewhere like here, like India, you do have to adapt. Every surface you play on slightly different, and just using the skills at the right time.
Yeah, Matt, after a fantastic performance against England in Game 1, was this a potential banana skin game? And how do you make sure that you still execute your skills at a high level when you know the opposition isn't of the same quality?
Well, I think the Netherlands have been playing some fantastic cricket of late, and obviously when you watch the journey that they took to get here, so it's actually been quite helpful to be able to play them at home only a couple of years back as well, and they tested us in some areas. So, yep, like you said, you've always got to take everyone very seriously in this tournament. Every game's worth the same amount of points. So that was the attitude that we came into this game with, and I think they showed it, especially up front. They put us under some pressure, but I thought the way the guys handled it to kind of get a read on the surface and adjust accordingly was brilliant to see.
Matt, I remember, like a lot of cricket fans, in particular Mike Hesson, that semi-final, you coming in 2015, being our hero, like that was a great moment for us all. But this is now your third ODI World Cup campaign. What is different about this group of men that are representing New Zealand?
Yeah, it's always great to be a part of World Cup. It's pretty special, and yeah, nothing changes here. We've got a great group of players here with a lot of depth and a lot of exciting skill as well. I think it's an exciting group we've got, and the good thing as well, everyone's got experience over here in India, so being able to call on those times and those experiences is really important. And yeah, I think the confidence in the group is really good.
Yeah, so Matt, you would have seen Chennai last night in terms of the pitch that you're likely to be heading to.
Yeah.
You know, what shifts do you think you're going to need to make as a team heading into that?
Yeah, definitely bowl some cutters, I think. Yeah, it looked like there was some turn there, and hopefully, yeah, they looked pretty hot as well. So I think it's good having obviously Dev and Mitch here, who've played a lot of cricket there in Chennai, and I think it'll be no surprise that they probably will turn, that it's going to be tough conditions with the heat as well, something we have to deal with. But I think coming up against Bangladesh as well, who will be really strong in those conditions. Once again, it's great that we've played them recently as well to have a good understanding of their side and how they like to play their cricket. So it'll be an important game.
Yeah, I just want to dovetail on the back of that question from Mike Hesson. We're likely to see conditions that are vastly different all around the country. We saw an absolute belting batting wicket in your first game and then a little bit of spin early, particularly here. So how do the players make those adjustments from game to game? Is it that experience, or is there specific training methods you're using?
I think communication's huge. I think that's something that the guys did really well tonight. They understood that, okay, it's going to be slightly tougher to score and not to panic, but to build partnerships and to probably take it deep. And I think obviously the way Satner finished the innings there was absolutely brilliant, but we got ourselves in a position where we could do that. And I think that probably just comes back to experience in these conditions, and then be able to relay that information as you see it out there. And I thought they did it really well tonight, and I think it's going to be especially important when we go places like Chennai.
You came into this tournament, there were a few injuries amongst the group, but we're starting to hear, obviously, Lockie back playing tonight. We've heard about Tim's thumb. He's on the mend and he's now available, and Kane's not too far away. That must give this group an extra bit of confidence, knowing that everyone is pretty much ready to go now, being that it's such a long tournament.
Yeah, massively. I think that's the beauty of this group as well. We've played a lot of cricket together, so having everyone here together has been really great, and seeing the work that these guys have put in to be fit and ready has been great to see. So great to have Lockie back out there tonight. Obviously, it's good to see some high heat. So no, I was really pleased for him to get back out there.
Yeah, and just on another note, obviously you missed Logan Van Beek. I'm sure you would have been delighted to front up against him today. Have you had a chance to have a chat to him?
Yeah, I was gutted for him. I think he was looking forward to it more than us. He was really looking forward to coming up against us. But yeah, luckily for him, it's nothing too serious. It's obviously just a game or two, but yeah, he was gutted he couldn't get out there tonight.
How are you personally approaching the challenge of the Tim Southee, Lockie Ferguson, Trent Boult, maybe only playing 3 fast bowlers? Is it something you've set your stall out to be that, to win that battle, if you like, or is it just, I'll do my best and if I get selected, I get selected?
Oh, I don't really think you think like that. I think you just go about your work and you're looking to try win games of cricket for your country. And I think this group have been together for a long time and played a lot of cricket. So I suppose you just got to trust the coaches and the group and everything like that. And then all you can do is your job. And I think that's something that we probably hang our hat on as a group is it's not worrying about those things. It's actually what can you add to this group and how you go about your work. And that's probably all that matters.
Matt Henry, it's been a long time since I've been out to dinner, but when they do turn the lights off, it tends to mean you got to get out of there. So what we're going to do is we're going to let you go. Congratulations on the win tonight, and we look forward to catching up with you during the tournament. Yeah, congratulations.
Appreciate your time, guys. Thank you. Yeah, this is brilliant. I think they're expecting rain too. Wow, there's huge covers.
Don't fall in. Thank you, Matt. Right, we're going to take a short break here. When we come back, we take a look at the Black Caps' next opponent. We'll see you soon. Welcome back to No Boundaries World Cup edition. Black Caps, another great victory. That makes it 2 for 2 from them in this World Cup so far. The next opponents, Bangladesh. Scott Styris, Mike Hesson with me. Scotty, I'd love to know how you think we're going to go in a place like Chennai against Bangladesh. We talk about teams that could potentially trip up the bigger teams. Is Bangladesh that for the Black Caps in those conditions?
Yeah, I'm scared of this one, I will admit. I'm a pessimist at heart, though, to be fair.
I feel that from you. Yeah.
When I look at this sort of thing, Bangladesh at home are a terrific side. We're going to see very similar conditions, a little lower, it'll stop and hold and turn a little bit. Bangladesh have got plenty of options with their spinners if it does end up being like we saw in Game 1 at this venue. So with that being the case, I think this is a real opportunity for New Zealand to show how serious they are. I mean, if they are to go deep into this tournament, playing on difficult pitches is going to be a must, and doing well on those surfaces. So this will be a true test for them. I know they've had some good success against Bangladesh in Bangladesh, but, you know, different players to a degree. But I see this as being a real opportunity to show how much this group has grown and how they are a very good side in different conditions. They have the skills, they have the talent in New Zealand, but this will be a test no matter what.
Yeah, how are you feeling about it, Hess? We've obviously, the group, I say we, like I'm playing. Good one, Laura. So they will have the confidence, obviously, as Scotty talked about, from their trip to Bangladesh. But he is right, there are different players there. It is a World Cup. Anything can happen. How are you feeling?
Yeah, I guess I highlighted these next two games when the draw first came out, a couple of months ago. You play Bangladesh and Afghanistan. The two places, or the place you don't want to play them, is Chennai. Obviously, the heat, the humidity, the fact that finger spin is really tough to play, and probably as tough as Bangladesh. So this is a game that will challenge our batting skill, and not just at the top. I mean, Devon, we saw the stats the other day, averages 223 against spin in India. He is no doubt our best. Kane is no doubt equally as good. So it's really important, I think, for New Zealand that Kane does play this game. His ability to manoeuvre the spin is going to be critical. Outside of that, not a huge amount of experience. You think about, Mitchell hasn't had a lot of experience in Bangladesh, where it is quite different. He's done well in India. He's done all right in the UAE, where it's, it spins but doesn't hold as much as it does here. Glenn Phillips, he's had plenty of experience in CPL, but once again, not a lot of experience in Bangladesh. And I guess you chuck Chapman in there as well. So, that middle order, it's going to be a challenge. And if we can get through this game, that will give us a huge amount of confidence for the rest of the tournament.
Well, I'm not going to be able to watch this game now. I'm going to be so nervous. So this is great. You guys have been great. No, but it is an interesting one. And having Kane...
We're good enough. We just got to front.
Yeah, we've just got to front up. Fronting up, so you got Kane Williamson coming back. He does need to play. We haven't seen him field so much in those two warm-up games he didn't, and then we haven't seen him feature so far, obviously.
Yeah.
I don't want him to. What if he got hurt? But then I know he needs to get out there and have some game time, because is it, when you're facing spin as a batter, is it one of those things that you actually do need to, the more you do, the better you get, or how? Because of these conditions, we're going to see some spin bowlers play a part, as we saw Mitchell Santner tonight. So is it super important that Kane Williamson is out there as much as we can get him out?
I'm with Hess on this one. I think he has to play because experience is the key. In these conditions, it's easy to let dot balls build up in your mind, and you then think, oh, I'm under pressure here, I'm dying in a hole, whereas, I need to play a shot. Rotation of the strike is the key to success in these conditions. And therefore it takes all the internal pressure off yourself when you're batting. If you are able to take one a ball, minimise the dot balls, keep the scoreboard ticking over. Kane, Devon Conway do it better than anyone. Daryl Mitchell's weakness is probably against spin in this regard, but he has made huge strides with his ability to play spin. But this is going to be a good test. So yes, I would play Kane. I think they can hide him in the field. The old man's position, short fine leg, short third man is where I would put him. Who he comes in for, we've already very unsure about who that will be because of the fact the rest of the top order are doing a great job. But I do believe he has to play for that reason because he has the experience and, most importantly, has the skill to be able to rotate the strike and find boundaries when he needs to.
When you're putting together the lineup at the moment, Hesson, there is that internal pressure. We spoke to Matt Henry and he said that, he doesn't really think about it. And I appreciate the answer. But there is an element of you that as an athlete, as a player, that you are always, I imagine, you're trying to better yourself. You're trying to, you want to be the best that there is. So how good is that in a World Cup environment to have that internal pressure going on?
Well, I think the thing is that the Gary Stead and Kane Williamson, if they're part of that selection crew, they won't make change for change's sake. And I think that's important. I think if you'll understand as a player, if a change is made from a tactical reason, so you want to bring in an extra spinner, you want an extra left-hander against this lineup, whatever it is, you can understand that. I think it's more the concerning point is when it chops and changes and you don't know why. If you get to a situation where, this guy got 40 and I only got 30, then it can become, you can become quite self-absorbed. But I don't think the Black Caps have that environment. I think they'll only make a change if they think that that's what the team requires from a tactical point of view. And just going back to Kane Williamson, I certainly wouldn't be playing him if it was Durham Sharla, with the look of that outfield and the fact that he dies with his knee first. So hopefully, thankfully, Chennai's not quite like that.
Yeah, that was, that looks very interesting. Gentlemen, I want to thank you so much for your time this morning. You've been fantastic. Scott, thank you for getting up early and coming in and joining us. And thank you for joining us here on No Boundaries. We will see you next time as we get ready for Game 3 for the Black Caps in this Cricket World Cup. We'll see you soon.